In a restaurant chain that became famous for its Big Boy hamburgers, founder Dave Frisch never let himself forget how it all started. Even when the Frisch's chain grew to include more than 170 franchises in 4 states, Dave would go into his restaurants during the lunch rush to bus tables. While many executives have a policy of not losing touch with their employees and customers, Dave made sure he connected with all of them. He tested what was working and not working by what was left on the customer's plate.
I thought that he was passionate about the food service industry from the time I met him, because he asked questions, he seemed concerned, and that proved to be the case as I came to know him better.
Frisch's Big Boy has become synonymous with good food and value pricing since 1946. However, the Frisch's story began many years earlier. When Dave was 8, he and his family moved to Norwood, where he sold newspapers and helped his father at his restaurant, Frisch's Stag Lunch on Montgomery Road. As a teenager, Dave dropped out of school to work full-time for his father. At his father's request, he returned to school and received his diploma at the age of 21. In 1938, things began to change. It was in that year that Dave met Fred Cornell, the president of Ohio Gravel Company, who was immediately impressed with Frisch's drive and enthusiasm and decided to build a restaurant for him to run. The restaurant, named the Mainliner, was opened in 1939. This restaurant became famous virtually overnight when Cornell blacktopped its parking area, making it Cincinnati's first drive-in restaurant. In 1946, Cincinnati was introduced to the Big Boy, a double-decker hamburger served with homemade tartar sauce. This new concept was a huge success.
For the restaurant I started in had no inside seating except 5 stools. And those 5 stools were for pickup, carry-out, and for people that wanted to come in to have a quick Big Boy, but mainly it was car hop.
When the business was young, Dave sold franchises to family and friends as the way to expand the business into different areas. One of the franchisees was the man who would eventually take over the helm of the company, Jack Maier. In the mid-1940s, Jack Maier was a student at the University of Cincinnati, putting himself through school as a part-time car hop at Frisch's Big Boy. He met and married Dave Frisch's daughter, Blanche, in 1948. Jack's first full-time role within the organization was to operate the company's commissary production facility. Here he learned how to cut meat, bake, make chili, and soup.
The first time I met Jack, I thought, here's a man who's very serious, very determined, man of integrity. He really was an innovator, and I think that's why Frisch's has been such a success.
As Jack rose within the ranks of the company, he continued his hands-on management style.
He understood that as times change, people change, customers change, their interests change, what they want. That way he was able to keep ahead of the curve. He was able to keep his customers satisfied.
Never wavering in his commitment to the company, Jack split his time between running the Frisch's commissary and supervising restaurants. In 1950, he opened his first franchise operation, the Big Boy Restaurant in Newport.
His most admirable quality would be his ability to gather the facts and then analyze them and come to a conclusion, which was generally right on the mark.
I don't think there's ever a question when Jack's involved in something, who knows who the leader is in the community. And that's Jack. That's just the way he is.
For the Frisch and the Maiers, family and business have been a great combination, and the legacy continues with Jack's son Craig as President and Chief Executive Officer, daughter Karen as Vice President, Marketing, and son Scott as Project Manager. In celebration of over 60 years of great food, service, leadership, and community activism, it is an honor to induct Dave Frisch and Jack Maier into the Junior Achievement Greater Cincinnati Business Hall of Fame.